Yes,
Failure
ma'am.
is the key. Yeah. So, are we live? Just let me know when we are.
Yes, ma'am, we are live.
Good morning, everybody. So, good to see you all over here. So, I got the pleasant privilege of introducing a very dynamic person to all of you today. We have with us Tarun. Tarun is a product and business leader who wants to create large-scale socio-economic impact through entrepreneurship. He previously founded Fresh Connect, an online business-to-business marketplace for fresh agri-produce, where he scaled up the operations to 2.5 crores plus revenue. He is an alumnus of IIT Delhi and currently looks after the supply chain at Evenflow, an aggregator of e-commerce brands in India. Tarun loves helping fellow founders and has started a community for people who have experienced failure in their journey of entrepreneurship. So without much ado, Tarun, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ashwini, for the warm introduction. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Tarun, and I'm going to talk about the topic failure is the key today. Let me just share my screen. So, this is my first ever conference as a speaker, and I thank you, each one of you, to be a part of it on a Saturday morning. I'm not an expert in anything, but I had few experiences which I feel can be useful to each one of you, and I would like to talk about those today. So, just a request to the organizers, let me know if if you lose my voice or video or anything at any point of time, as I'm not able to see anyone here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, when we talk about failure is the key, the question arises, what is it key to what, right? The failure is key to what? So, what I see is on a scale of time, it can be a key to anything. Like it can be a key to learning in a short term. It can be a key to success in a medium to long term. As someone says, failure is nothing but success in progress. And if we even take a longer term view, according to Maslow hierarchy, each human wants to reach to a self-actualization state, which is defined as he or she wants to reach their full potential. When you try your best at something, you tend to fail sometimes, right? And when you fail, you realize how much potential you have. Then, even if we take a long-term view, which is evolutionary scale, right, thousands of years of scale, what we see is evolution is nothing but a series of failures with a few successes, right? So that's how I see it. So I would like to start with a poll before going to the next slide. So I would request Ashwini to start with the first poll that we have.
So, Savneet, I'll go with the poll that's created.
Yes, ma'am.
So, the audience, I request you all to kindly.
Yeah. So the poll is, audience, I want to know, what do you think? Do you think failure is an important part of success? Do you think failure is important, or can someone be successful without any failures in life? So we'll give 20 to 30 seconds for the poll,
Yeah. We have 31
and then we'll.
participants, 20 votes. So, I'm not voted myself. Tarun, are you able to see the results?
Yes, I think 24 people have already voted.
Right. That's great.
Maybe we'll wait few more seconds, or if I think everyone's done, we can close the.
I think we can. Okay. We can.
Okay, I think majority of you are in the favor that failure is important, and I'm glad to see that. So maybe we'll move ahead.
Yes.
So going forward, I would like to share my journey and why I am talking about one of the least favorite topic of people, right? Failure. People associate negativity to the failure. So I would love to share my journey and why I talk about failure, right? So talking about origins, I hail from a very small town in Haryana where I didn't have much exposure to anything, right? But I was a very studious and competitive kid, and slowly I also became ambitious with time. And at the same time, I got to know about this competitive exam called IITJ. I am sure most of you must have heard of it. So when I got to know about it, I realized that this is something which will help me to uh, compete in a better playground, right? And that's when I decided to go for it. I think as a topper, when I gave my first mock exam, as a topper in school, when I gave my first mock exam in coaching, I came second last in 1700 students. I think this was the first taste of failure for me, in a way. And soon after, the bigger failure came where I realized that I didn't go through the exam, in the first attempt. I think it was one of the biggest setback at that point of time for me, and I realized that this is something I need to go through, right? But I didn't know how because no one have taught me how to handle failure. And as a kid who was always ambitious and got what he want, it's very difficult to understand what I'm going through, right? So that was the first time. But I took the courage and I decided to appear for the exam last time, which was the second attempt. And this time I got into IIT Delhi. Getting into IIT Delhi is like getting a lot of exposure for a kid who is coming from a small town, right? I got exposure to entrepreneurship, I got exposure to creative fields, etc. And in my first year itself, I did an internship in a startup which was started by my one of my seniors. I think going into that, this was my first exposure to entrepreneurship. Now, I feel that everyone have something where they see that this is a playground for them to achieve their full potential. It can be entrepreneurship, it can be creative field, right? And for me, I think I felt that that was entrepreneurship, and I decided that I want to do something like that. I worked on so many ideas for long period of time, but eventually I started my first company in August 2018, 1 year after graduation. After working for a consulting job for a year, I started Fresh Connect, which was an online B2B marketplace for fresh agri produce. The idea behind the startup was to help farmers realize better incomes for their effort that they put. We worked on the company. We ran the company for around 19 months. And after a lot of sacrifices, we decided that we want to shut it down after 19 months. It was one of the biggest setback for my life so far. I didn't know how to handle it again. I've put so much effort in the company that the failure was not something which I was prepared for. But at the same time, it was very humbling. I went through a lot of issues. I went through health problems. I went through relationship problems because of the startup. I also went through. I lost all my savings, which I have accumulated at that point of time, and it was almost like all the world is over for me, right? So that was the first failure that had the biggest impact on me so far. But I think slowly I got better. Also, there was a point in my entrepreneurship journey where I was diagnosed with depression, and I think that is the second topic that I feel that we talk very less about in our society, which is mental health, right? Which is very important for entrepreneurship. So when I decided that okay, I want to move forward, I took some time off and I started working on reflections and started accumulating, writing my learnings from my experience, whether it is choosing the right co-founder or the criticality of the focus at an early stage of startup, or whether a good or bad hire can make or break your company. There are so many learnings that I'm keeping for life. And I think that is the thing that I'm taking from my journey. After this, I currently head supply chain at an early stage startup. I think working at an early stage startup is one of the best experience you can get to learn entrepreneurship. And I urge all of the aspiring founders here who wants to get into entrepreneurship to work at an early stage startup to learn about entrepreneurship. I think we have another poll after this, and then we'll go to the next slide. Ashwini, if we can put the second question here. So the question is, have you experienced failure in pursuit of a large goal? It can be entrepreneurship, it can be anything, an artistic goal, artistic pursuit, right? So any one of you have experienced any failure in your life? I think let's give few seconds for everyone to vote. We have 15 votes till now. It's great to see that people are able to relate with me, because I think so many people have experienced failure in their pursuits. Let's wait for a few more seconds for everyone to vote. I think we can close the vote now. I think no one is voting anymore. So majority of people have experienced failure. Now, after sharing my journey in a nutshell, I would love to talk about, if we are not as a society talking about failure and supporting people who went through failure, what I'm trying to do about it. So this is one of my passion project that I've recently started. It's called Resilient Founders Network. So Resilient Founders Network is a community for people who have failed in their pursuit of entrepreneurship goals, or people who wants to learn from them. So there are two major roadblocks for people who have gone through these failures. One is, failure is a taboo in our society. We generally don't want to talk about failure, right? There's a negativity associated to it. And I want to normalize that through sharing stories. And I want to normalize that through reflections, through conversations with these people. And I think it's ironical, because the more than 90% of startups fail, everyone knows that, but still we talk about more about success stories than failure stories, right? So this is a way I think people will start knowing more about failures. And the second is, whenever an entrepreneur fails in his or her pursuit, what happens is, it's a huge setback for him or her. They are highly ambitious people who have been very successful in their life previous to this, and they don't understand how to deal with this thing, right? And also they lose their self-worth for some time because of this. So I think they can be supported through two things. One is, there should be mental health counselors who can help them understand their emotions. And the second is to help them go back to a secure job, which will help them in a short term in getting better, right? So I think that's one way I'm trying to do it. And there are so many other activities we can do to help these people. So I've started this community, and I would love to get more people who are interested in joining this community, who wants to learn from people who have failed in their pursuit or who have themselves want to share their stories. So I would request Ashwini to share the link in the chat uh, for the community. It's a Google form. So if you are interested, I would request you to join this community after filling this form.
Tarun, I'll be putting it in the chat. I think you can continue. I'll be doing
Sure,
it.
sure. Thank you, Ashwini. So I think that's about it. This is my last slide. What I believe is if someone wants to achieve huge success, there are two parts to it. One is you need to have high ambition, and few of us are highly ambitious people. And you also should have ability to handle failure. Because if you are highly ambitious and you are in a pursuit of something greater than yourself, you will definitely face failure. And how you handle it will also decide whether you will be successful in that or not. That's it. And it's just my last slide where Steve Jobs is also re-emphasizing on the thing which I've just said. If I try my best and fail, well, I've tried my best. Thank you very much. And I'm open to questions.
Okay. Thank you so much. So if anyone has any questions or doubts, they can post their questions in the comment box. And the link is also shared, so you can join the link as well.
So put it in the call to action as well. So it should be available. So there's a question. Tarun. Are there any best practices for bouncing back? This is by our chair, Ramlata madam. So good to see you.
Yeah, hello, Ramlata ma'am. So I think there are two things to it, right? Any best practices to bouncing back? I think it depends on person to person, right? It depends on what's your personality type, right? Whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, for example. And everyone have different ways to deal with it. I think I can maybe share what I did, right? I think one thing as an introvert, what I did is I went back to my drawing board and started writing and try to rationalize what has happened, right? Because when we hit a setback, it's more of these emotions that hit us, right? And they take us down with them. So if you try to work on your learnings, if you try to rationalize about your experience, I think this might help. Also, it's important you take a break, right? Generally, people who are in pursuit of entrepreneurship have a burnout, right? They pursue it with huge energy and they don't take any breaks, which is very important in a journey like that. So I think it's very important if you are going through such a journey like that, you take a break, you go to, I would say, mountains, you take a vacation for 1 week, reflect, rejuvenate. I think that's very important. And last but not the least, it's very important to talk to a mental health specialist if you are not feeling well from mental health point of view, right? It's one of the taboo again in India where we don't talk about it much, and but it's as important as a physical health, right? When we have any physical problem, we go to a doctor, we ask them, and they gave us medicine. It's very similar to mental. It's also similar to mental health. You go to a doctor who is a mental health specialist, you talk to them, and you reflect with them, right? And that's how I think you can bounce back through this journey.
So that's a very inspiring, story to actually catch on from. People always see the success stories, but not the blood and sweat that goes behind. So That's so nice. So, are there any more questions? Feel free to type in a chat window or grab the mic. We can probably give you an access if at all you feel the question is extended. I mean, it goes beyond text.
Feel free to ask
So,
people. I think.
So usually I have a question of my own. As Ramlata madam told, what is the best practice? Sometimes we feel that, it's very, very difficult to come out from a place where you have borrowed a lot of money. You can't, advance anything. So more often than not, many of us face such situations, not only in entrepreneurial ventures, any high risk ventures like that, building a house, so many things. So how can we actually draw our strength from these things? So there's always not only a taboo a question that arises about self-sufficiency, whether we cannot, if we cannot do it ourselves, why do we have to go to others? So but when it comes to finances, is there anything that we need to actually probably do, drawing again from your own experiences, please?
Sure. So I think it's a great question, and I would divide it into two parts, right? You talked about self-sufficiency, and you also talked about financial independence, right? Also, there is a financial literacy, lack of financial literacy in our society again, right? That is why a lot of people don't understand how they should manage money. So I think that is one. If you, as a citizen, I think everyone should learn financial literacy. That's very important. It's a life skill. And I was not very good at finances, to be very honest, when I started my own company. I didn't know where should I draw a line in terms of first personal and professional finances, right? Which is again very important. These are boring things for maybe Gen Z and millennials, I would say, but I think it's as important as anything else. The second thing is, I think as a ambitious people, what we do is we have these big goals and we want to achieve them as soon as possible. And I think the experience that I had made me humble to say that I think it's not a race. You have your own sweet time. Everyone have their own journeys, and with time, you should wait for the right time where you have enough resources to start something like that. Right? You should have enough resources to support yourself when you are not at a right phase, right? Let's say if you lose money, you still should be able to survive yourself. So that's very important, right? And you should have that in mind. So that's been my experience. So
Thank you. I think someone wants the mic, so I invite them on the stage. They have a question. Just a second. I've given you the access.
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. I've given the access to you. You can join on the stage now. Lucy, ma'am. Yes. Also, there's a question in the chat box that it says, what is the MRR mentioned in the form shared?
yeah, so MRR is monthly recurring revenue. So how much monthly recurring revenue you were doing when you were running your own startup at that point of time? Just to understand at what scale you were dealing in, so that we can customize the experience for you at the community.
Okay, I think we are done with the questions now. Before we end the session, I request everyone to click a group picture. For that, I will be sending you a request, and you will be receiving a beautiful memory from this event into your emails. So, just a second. So now you all can start. You can just have to go take a selfie and submit it.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite feature on this tool.
Yes. We have only 2. We'll wait for a minute for everyone else to complete.
Meanwhile, people, if you have any questions, any feedback, please feel free.
Tarun, how did you seek solicit advice from for as regards to ideation and things like that? Because advice is something that's very freely given, but then how do you actually uh, you know uh, get it from the people who really might be? How do you identify groups of people? There are so many of them, accelerators and people who do it for a fee, all those things. So how did what do you think would be a better way for newbies to go?
Sure. I think again a great question, Ashwini. So, uh, I think there are again two parts to it. One is finding the right person to get the advice, and then whether to take that advice in a context, right? So I see the world that we are living in is a world of abundance, right? We don't have any lack of advice or knowledge, right? And we can hear advice from anyone, especially in entrepreneurship. If you're doing, each of your relatives, who don't know anything about entrepreneurship will also share a lot of advice with you. So I think that will happen. But I think the important thing is, one, to find the right person to find the advice is, uh, think of the journey of that person and see if that journey is very similar to what you want to live as a journey, right? The goals that he have achieved, whether you want to also achieve the same goals. And if still they give advice, it's very important for you to take the things in your context, right? Everyone says or give advice from their context, and it's very important you insert your context to understand that advice in your life or apply that advice in your life, right? So I think it's an evolving process. I also didn't know about it, but as I went through so many people and so many wrong advices, which also contributed to the failure, I realized that this is very important.
Okay, I'll be ending the group fee. There are only 10 people, so do it quickly. And there's a question that I see. There are two actually. One by Udaini. So, if not a startup, even when trying to get into a professional working environment, we find a lot of challenges. Can you advise? So, was this question taken up? No, no.
No, not yet. I
Yeah.
think I would love to know more context around this, but I think yeah, there are a lot of challenges at any point of time if you want to pursue anything, right? It's a very competitive world out there. So you're talking about we find a lot of challenges. So if you can specify any particular challenging, Udyani, I can talk about that. But in general, I think what I would suggest is stay true to yourself. Have your strengths and weaknesses in your mind, and always just give me 1 second. Yeah. Always be wary of being dishonest while pursuing anything, right? In professional working environment, people generally think that they can game a system, right? People can game uh, how they can get a job, etc. But I would not suggest that. I would suggest that you be honest to yourself. You share your strengths and weaknesses, and you find the opportunities that fit with you, right? It's a fit. It's not like that you just need to find the opportunity. It's important that you have the right environment to grow in when you're joining a company.
There's another question from Preeti. How will you handle if your better half is a business model and your idea is social business model? What's your ROI as as they are investing in you? Sorry.
Okay,
Can you
maybe
grab the
did
mic
you?
and actually be more clear about that? Mic is the fifth button there. So she's requested for the mic. Satneet?
Yes, ma'am, I've given the access.
Great. Yes, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Preeti, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you for the wonderful session. And I was able to resonate totally. And I had gone through the same path what you have gone through. And I've just bounced back. And this IEEE conference gave me a lot of energy and faith because I have been able to meet. I can know, oh, what this was person if she has given. Because two things happened with me which left because we have 15 years of corporate experience. We had played multiple roles, so had the confidence I can run my company and I can start it off 2015. Parallelly, I forgot I had a small baby. I took a break so that I can do it. And now when I was going with something like a social entrepreneur sort of a thing, something like Ola and Uber was what I was from in the healthcare background. And my husband is a very good business oriented guy who knows when to leave, what to take and all. So I have invested all my PPF or whatever funding so that, but still, what is the return on investment? Because someone challenges your baby saying, see, such your baby is so ugly. So also you automatically you might be passionate, ambitious, going around, but someone suddenly who has this expertise challenges you. Hey, come on here, it is not that baby has got something different. So automatically self-doubt comes off. We don't know the return on investment because when you enter the market with a product or service, we have a couple of other challenges because there is no product like that. And the community is resistant. If I had done it in an open community, it would have worked. In a closed community, it fails. So definitely men or be it a woman, I'm giving you money, iska वापस कब मिलेगा? Sorry, when am I going to get the revenue? Because some new transformation you're launching, there is nothing, you don't know, you need to be in that market for a couple of months. You won't do a break even or something. You have to have confidence to continue. There are a lot of parallel startups business I generated like Lasante so that I can put some daily income so that I can sustain it, because this will take 2 years for my return on investment. So I was not able to view it. So how will you defend a person who has very good business entrepreneur view about return on investment? Like you give it as a free service, the app is given as a free service. After that you can customize, like what Facebook and other people have done after so many years, because they have accumulated a data. So how will you know what is a return on investment? How will you handle challenges or the trust factor which gets broken inside you silently? And
Preeti,
yeah, that's it.
can just conclude quickly because we are running far beyond the time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think I
Sorry.
got the question. I got the question. So
and yes.
yeah. So thanks Preeti for that question. I think it's a very important question, and a lot of entrepreneurs when they start up they don't know about this. They don't think about this question because they're very passionate and they're just only thinking about their idea and the change they are going to bring through this idea, right? But it's very important question. There are two things to it again. One is you talked about ROI, right? You need to evaluate what kind of idea you are starting up with, right? Whether it will be a profitable idea or it's going to be remain unprofitable, right? As you said, it will be burning money for some time. If it is going to burn money, there is a different set of investors that are present in the market who are called patient capital investors, right? Who will wait for some time and but they will still see some progress, and the progress is in terms of the growth in terms of users, right? Or growth in terms of engagement. So whether your product is being used, whether your product is there are multiple users who are coming to your platform, whether it is free or paid, doesn't matter, right? There are so many examples to that. So I think it's very important to plan ahead as an entrepreneur and decide what kind of idea you are having, and accordingly reach out to those kind of investors. If you reach out to an investor who is not having patient capital, who wants return in a very short amount of time, it will be very difficult for you to sustain because he will keep asking when are you coming
Money.
with the returns, right? So I think it's very important to be mindful of that, right? And also all these numbers are very important to track the progress, but at the some point you have this gut feeling as an entrepreneur yourself that whether you are progressing in the right direction, right? And there might be numbers who are saying that okay, because of COVID going down, everything is going down, revenue is going down, the business is shut, but you still believe in the problem you are solving and still believe in the purpose that you are having as a part of this idea. That I think keeps you driving in those cases. So I think these are the two things I would say which keeps you driving. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Deepak. You've answered the question. And I just wanted to know, because as an investor is funding in you, sometimes they may change your ideas. So in that case, it's like grooming your baby. So in that case, how will you restrain your, take up the challenge to restrain them? That's it.
Yeah, so I think it's very similar to the last question that we were talking about. A lot of people will give a lot of advice to you as an entrepreneur, and it's very important you take that as context. It's very important you know that entrepreneur is so the investor is coming from what context, right? He have also been an entrepreneur maybe, or maybe he is in an investor shoes. He wants to get his money back, right? And he wants to reduce the risk. So you need to understand that context and understand whether it applies to you, and you give him a logical explanation, right? Whether this applies to you as an entrepreneur or not. So that's very important. So I think that it ties to that thought that everything you get as an advice should be in your context rather than the other person's context.
Thank you. Thank you. I agree. The buy-in and when to leave in. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Pratik.
Thank you.
Ashwini ma'am? Ma'am, you're on mute if you're trying to say anything. I think we are done with the questions as well. Now, we'd like to present you with the memento. And thank you so much for such a wonderful session. It was more interactive because everyone was able to resonate so much with you and they were able to connect with you. And I think that is the best part. That would be like a great takeaway from this session for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, IEEE Returning Mothers Conference, for inviting me.
Thank you so much. I request Ashwini ma'am to kindly present the memento to sir. Ma'am, you're sharing the sheet. Yeah. Ma'am, you're on mute if you're saying anything. Okay.
Yeah. I hope you are able to see. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible now.
So thank you, Tarun. It was
Yes,
a
it's
wonderful power pack session. So many thanks to you and the participants who could really, make use of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashwini, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah. So please, look into the link that was provided. Thank you. Have a nice day. So over to the next session. So we move on to the tracks now. Individual tracks are now open. In the Inspire and Engage track, we have Ms. Santoshi Kittur. So on Art of Start. So thank you so much. Savneet, how do we move ahead?
Yes, so we can close this link, everyone. I'll stop the streaming as well. Thank you so much for joining, and you all can join the individual sessions now from the link. Thank you.